So there is a saying where you either get a generalist or a specialist, right? And on top of that, I want to add the context of AI, right? Because it seems like AI is taking a lot of white-collar jobs, right? So what's your thought process or thinking when it comes to hiring generalists or specialists?
I would say, in today's context, if the company is mature enough, you might have the financial leverage to have specialists, and you can grow the company that way. But for companies that are still aspiring and they are still, I would say, lean, I would say, I mean, it really depends on the industry, but my opinion would be to hire a generalist, because this is the point where your company structure is going to change. It's going to move, and with the power of AI, that one generalist could be your sales come marketing come operations also, right? And I think in today's context, AI is very powerful.
So you are saying because of the AI trend, now you are looking at more generalist role that can wear multi hats. Is that applicable in the industry, Stefan?
In the events industry, I'm afraid the separation of roles are quite clear. But I like what DBS CEO said, Tan Sushan. So I'm going to quote her. She said this: don't hire for knowledge, because knowledge is ubiquitous. Knowledge has been democratized. Hire for attitude, because you want to hire people who are agile and humble. So I think that would be the value set that I will base on. Instead of whether is it general or specialist, I think if they are dedicated enough, pay them well enough, that's very important. I think you can use AI as a supplementary tool to supplement whatever gaps that they might be facing.
Seems like many people have questions with regards to hiring the right talent. Maybe a good deeper dive into hiring for skill versus hiring for values. And I think based on what the DBS CEO mentioned, it seems like more on attitude and the soft side of things, right? So in both your consideration, when you're hiring someone, what are some of the values that are 100% non-negotiable?
I guess a story, how I actually do my hires is I do a Zoom vibe check. That
Vibe
means
check.
a vibe check.
Very Gen Z language.
See whether you and me, bro, you vibe with me or not. Because it's purely very simple, isn't it? If someone drains me in a 20 minutes Zoom call, I do not want to see them 40 hours a week, much less more, including setup. So I feel that's very key.
That's a good tip. Zoom vibe check.
Vibe check.
How about you? Do you have any interesting practices, Sunny?
Yes, in fact, we also do it in a very similar way, but I just learned a cool term today, vibe check. For us is we check the frequency, the communication between two parties, assuming if I have to explain something 10 times for this person to understand me, then I think, yeah, there's no vibe there, definitely. And I think that's something very important. But going back to the question of what are the key values that we're looking out for, I would say growth, self-growth is very important, because especially when we're talking about hiring like the Gen Zs or even the Gen Alphas, they tend, this is a stereotype, right? They might tend to feel like owners are pushing, or their leaders are pushing them too much, and we're not taking care of their mental health, right? But then that is the only way where they can grow and the company can grow together. So I think if the person doesn't believe in sacrificing to grow, then I don't think that I will make that hire if the person doesn't want to sacrifice.
I want to deep dive into sacrificing, because for the younger generation, it seems like time in a company is a bit of a sensitive topic. How many of you understand what I mean? Especially for F&B industry or events industry, right? So what are some of the rules or some of the rules of engagement that you have with your team members, right? That you say, that you insist, not really insist, but more like you encourage them to do more?
So on our side, if any of you have been interviewing lately, typically a work from home setting is expected, especially from Gen Alpha and Gen Alpha.
Expected meaning everyday work from home?
Maybe even a majority.
Once a week?
I have some that like finance function. It depends on the function, right? For finance, they hope it's completely work from home.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, but it really depends. There's so many finance people out there, right? But the main point is you got to kind of balance it out. So in our company, we have the culture where it's always a on-site work, because we have sewing machines and stuff and materials, there's no way we could shift it back. Like we wash the costumes, there's no way we could ask my team to go and use their own washing machine to wash.
Yep.
Right? So basically, they come, but there are times where they need that flexibility, and that's where we give in. Basically, it's really about understanding what is important to them. If let's say one of my staff is a mother of 2, maybe she's having 2 or 3 kids, she's struggling, and then I will want to, even though it's an on-site work, I want to give her that flexibility that she knows working with us, she will be able to still take care of her kids when she really have to.
Seems like the times have changed, right? Because in the past, it's the boss telling the employee the criteria of the job. But now it's the other way around. They tell you what they want, and then you see whether you want to accept or not. Do you all feel that way as well?
Hell yeah.
I think it's the middle ground. I think you can tell the prospect, say that this is my expectations, and they can hear them out. What are your expectations? What do you hope to get out of it? How can I, as a business owner, your future employer, contribute to you?